Hello, my name is Sally Brennan-Tubbs, and today I'm going to speak to you about John Hancock. When people hear the name John Hancock, the first thing that comes to mind is his signature on the Declaration of Independence. Most people do not know much more about John Hancock other than his signature on that document. What is interesting is that he was heavily involved in politics leading up to the American Revolution and was the first president of the Continental Congress. According to Gary Smith in a book titled Faith and Our Founders, edited by Mark Hall and Daniel Driesbach, John Hancock was instrumental in funding the American Revolution and lost more financially than most. In Unger's John Hancock, Merchant King and American Patriot, published in 2000, he describes Hancock as one of the wealthiest businessmen in the colonies who put his life at risk and lost much of his wealth supporting the revolution, and that he gained power, acclaim, and the gratitude of Americans, but none more so than the citizens of Massachusetts. Scholarly writers have largely ignored Hancock's faith when writing about the faith of our founders. However, in a 2008 book titled Founding Faith, Providence, Politics, and the Birth of Religious Freedom, Stephen Waldman labels Hancock as an Orthodox Christian. Scott writes that Hancock was a member of the Brattle Street Congregational Church and often used biblical arguments to justify the revolt against England. Scott also asserts that Hancock believed in providentialism and emphasized God's sovereignty in his justifications for the American Revolution. Evidence of John Hancock's faith is apparent in many of his Thanksgiving proclamations and speeches. Smith writes that evidence of John Hancock's faith can be found in his commitment to attend church regularly, Bible reading, prayer, and the forgiveness of others. He also believed in an afterlife. Smith also observed that while governor of Massachusetts, Hancock's Christian beliefs led him to oppose slavery, state lotteries, and the brutal punishment of criminals. Historians differ about Hancock's motives for supporting the American Revolution, as well as his ethical practices in business. Unger argues that Hancock and his uncle unethically extracted every penny they could from merchants and customers, and asserts that they smuggled and bribed to avoid paying import duties. In an opposing opinion, a 1946 article published in the Mississippi Valley Historical Review titled John Hancock, Notorious Smuggler or Near Victim of British Revenue Racketeers, O.M. Dickinson states that the reason Hancock was accused of smuggling was for the political benefit and plunder of Governor Bernard. In an American Heritage magazine titled Men of Revolution 14, John Hancock published in 1975, author Richard Ketchum asserts that the Hancock commercial enterprise moved from a smuggling activity to providing employment to families in Boston, and that he was known for helping the needy and making substantial donations to churches. Smith states that Hancock lived very extravagantly and was criticized for it by biographers and his fellow founders. Unger also asserts that Hancock flaunted his wealth by living in a lavishly furnished Boston mansion, riding in a golden carriage pulled by 4 white horses, and throwing expensive parties while his fellow founders lived more modestly during the Revolutionary era. Dickerson agrees and writes that John Adams once stated that John Hancock appears in public with all the pageantry of an Oriental prince. Adams wasn't the only founder who was sour on Hancock. According to Ketchum, James Madison wrote that Hancock is weak, ambitious, a courtier of popularity, given to low intrigue. Smith writes that Hancock did not possess the same character as Washington or the intellect of Adams, but played a principal role in Massachusetts politics for almost a quarter of a century and contributed greatly to the preservation of American independence. Thank you.